good morning, and welcome, and thank you very much to our Namaste band. Beautiful. Good morning, and welcome. Hello there. I'm Donna Columbell, one of your prayer chaplains here at Unity of Gaithersburg, and it's my delight to welcome you to our Sunday service this morning. And for those of you out in cyberspace, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Let us begin our time in prayer right now. As we just close our eyes for a moment and settle into this space right now, feeling the energy and the love that's present in this room, feeling it spreading, knowing that our light is shining right now. And we set an intention this morning to open ourselves to the possibilities and the wondrous opportunities that are present for us today. We listen to the words, we hear the music, and we know that we're expanded by it. So as we open ourselves again, we say yes to the possibilities that this day has for us. Yes, and thank you. And so it is. Amen. Well, if you're joining us here for the first time today, we have some nice welcome packets on the back table there, so before you leave, please be sure and pick one up. And if you're out there in cyberspace and joining us, please tune in to our website. We have unityofgaithersburg.org. We have lots of good information for you. So we're so grateful that you're here today. And we might want to add that now is a good time, if you haven't already, to silence your cell phones. This week, we're highlighting our youth and family and adult core value. And I'm going to ask you to repeat it with me if you would. We are dedicated to learning and practicing unity and the New Thought spiritual principles through our youth, adult, and family programs and events. We honor and encourage the innate creativity of all. So thank you. And I want to tell you that this morning we are so privileged to have with us Reverend Barrett Bennett. She'll be delivering today's talk and meditation. And the title of her talk is Healing Kinship. Okay, but now let's have a nice song together. So if you'll join us in song.
This congregational we're about to do, it's called We Share the Dream of Peace by Sue Riley. It's from 60 Songs for Social Change. We have not done it before, so we always like to try some new things, and I'm going to teach you the chorus, so every time the chorus comes in, we would love for you to join in. And I'll just have you repeat after me. So the first part goes, we have this precious present. Ready? Good. And our presence holds the key. And our to a world this is more loving. As we share the dream of peace, as we share this, as we share the dream of peace. Now let's try the chorus all together. We have the precious present, and our presence holds the key to a world that is more loving, as we share that dream of peace. As we share the dream of peace. awesome. My skin may be a different shade, my language not the same. I pray in different places, I call God by different names. My clothing may not be like yours, might stand out in a crowd, but in universal spirit, differences allowed. Here it is. We have this precious present, and our presence holds the key to a world that is more loving, and we share that dream of peace as we share the dream of peace. My arms embrace my children, I fall in love, I cry. I marvel at the sunset as another day goes by. But halfway round the world I know your rain brings rainbows too. Though we might seem so different, I am just the same as you. We have the precious present, and our presence holds the key to a world that is more loving as we share that dream of peace, as we share dream of peace. All the future, remembering the past, together we can co-create a vision that will last. We have this precious present, and our presence holds the key to a world that is more loving as we share that dream of peace, as we share the dream of peace. Wow, you guys did a great job.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. I'm Edie, and I am on your platform announcements today. So, the first one coming up is Ask the Minister Sunday. This is so much fun. We think about questions, and Rev Ogan's going to be up front just going for it. So think about all those things that, you always wanted to ask, and something on your journey, something theological, just ponder that. And Rev Ogan will be setting himself up. And so email questions to ogan@projectsanctus.com for your questions, or you can leave them in his mailbox in the little kitchen area there. And the link will be in the newsletter for a form as well, so you can submit your questions online. So that's going to be so much fun. Woohoo! Unity Worldwide Ministries annual meeting is coming up Wednesday, June 22nd. We can have 4 voting delegates at the meeting, which will happen on Zoom. So if you are interested in participating in this, we are part of the wider Unity movement. So I encourage you to, if you have thoughts about this, if you want to get a little bit more involved, you want to take your practice a little deeper, here's your chance. So send an email to Keith at the admin email by May 6th. And I'm going to invite Elizabeth to come up and talk about Pick a Party. Woohoo!
Awesome. Love the intro. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Have you all heard about our Pick a Party fundraiser? Yay! Okay, for those of you who haven't, the Pick a Party fundraiser is beginning Memorial Day and running through Labor Day. We chose this summer so parties can be held outside for those who are more comfortable participating in an outside party, but it's not limited to outdoors. Right now, we have you can register for a party through May 15th. Right now we have someone who's volunteering their services as a square dance caller, and we're going to have a square dance and line dancing party. We have a painting on the patio party. We have someone who's volunteered to lead people through a hike, an outdoor lunch at Silver Diner. I'm thinking John Paul and the band should do a concert. I would pay big money to attend a John Paul and band concert. What do you think? Yeah? So the whole idea is to sign up for a party that you want to host, donating your time and talents and your party. And then after May 15th, soon after, the parties will go live. And that's when the congregation has the opportunity to sign up via Eventbrite to buy a ticket for the party. Parties will have a certain amount of tickets available, so you want to sign up soon so you don't miss your opportunity to attend whatever that party is you want to go to. This fundraiser is replacing our auction this year. So the whole idea is to create community while creating abundance for unity. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see all the parties that'll be offered. I'm going to plan to attend a bunch. It's a great way to connect with old members, new members, bring friends, bring family, and just create a fun summer, both creating unity abundance and creating fun for everybody. So check it out. It's in the newsletter, and I think we're going to start having it advertised on our website as well. There is a link for a sign up for hosting the party, and it will guide you through all the steps and the information you need. All right, thanks.
So much fun. Okay, SEE, our SE Weeky is coming up, you guys. SE Week is awesome. It's a way to really broaden your practice, broaden your knowledge, deepen your spiritual roots into these wonderful unity teachings. And so the class, we're highlighting a class every week to kind of get you jump started. Healing and wholeness. Unity began with spiritual healing. Many of you know about Myrtle Fillmore's journey. And so the healing was followed by others, and eventually Silent Unity was formed. Silent Unity is an incredible, incredible resource. They have been in constant, nonstop prayer for over 125 years. That's a lot of spiritual power. This class is being taught by Rev Kelly Isola. For those of you who have not taken a class with her, I encourage you to do so. She is amazing. She's just amazing. She has these deep understandings. She's able to articulate and teach in ways that help you deepen your understanding. She takes people where they're at and then helps you go even deeper and deeper into these teachings. And so I highly recommend this class with Kelly. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, after the service, we have our prayer chaplains available to you. Donna will be here in the sanctuary, and we have Morrison Day on Zoom. So if those of you online would like one-on-one prayer, you can send an email to the prayer chaplains at unityofgaithersburg.org, and you will get a reply with the Zoom link. So take advantage of our spiritual powerhouses here after service today. And finally, let's settle in for our daily word. Today, the daily word is gather. So I invite you just to take a deep breath. Let's settle in. We gather and magnify the presence of God. As I gather with others in spirit of love and peace, my awareness of God's presence becomes more powerful, even palpable. Together, we create an energy, a vibration greater than any one of us alone. I'm comfortable and at ease when I notice our differing appearances, preferences, backgrounds, and opinions, because I am reminded of the limitless diversity of divine expression and my place in it. When I join in fellowship with my family, friends, and all others who are dear to me, each one of us becomes a mirror for others. We see in one another divine presence that lives in and expresses as every person. The unifying energy of divine love unites and binds us together. In this love, we are one. And from Psalms 133, how very good and pleasant it is when kindred live together in unity. And it is my joy to introduce Laura Barrett Bennett. She's a highly acclaimed third-generation Unity minister, teacher, and author with almost 40 years' experience in facilitating transformative spiritual education and growth for individuals and communities around the world. Laura Barrett Bennett is the founding minister and CEO of the new online ministry, Unity of the Heart-Mind. I love that, the heart-mind. Laura grew up in Unity around some of its most famous teachers and writers. And she has been the senior minister of 3 churches, the chairperson of biblical studies for the ministerial and adult education program, and has authored the book, The Language of God, Metaphysics, and the Bible. Of her work, Laura has said, "The people I work with are from all walks of life. Youthful dreamers of all ages, people with and without family, busy professionals, people who have transitioned out of the workplace, ministers, community leaders, and more." And so we are just so honored and delighted, and we can't wait to hear your message today. So welcome.
Whenever I feel the need to leave it all behind, or feel the need to get away, I find a quiet place far from the human race, out in the country, before the breathing air is gone, before the sun is just a bright spot in the nighttime, out where the rivers like to run. I stand alone and take that something worth remembering. Whenever I feel them closing in on me, or need a bit of room to move, when life becomes too fast, I find relief at last, out in the country, before the breathing air is gone, before the sun is just a bright spot in the nighttime, out where the rivers like to run. I stand alone and taste that something worth remembering.
of you who don't know, that was a song by a group called Three Dog Night from the 1970s.
Way back.
Way back.
A cool breeze could be felt as we stood on what seemed like the edge of infinity, as dark, formless mass and looming silence closed in around us. Only the occasional shuffle of the rubber soles of walking shoes against loose dirt could be heard. We felt the crowd of people pressing in on us, but could not make out either face or physicality. Then, the sky took on a soft gray light and silhouetted numerous heads and shoulders in what seemed to be one great form made of many individuals. As time crept by, the gray of the sky became deep purple, then pink, then a bright hue of yellowish orange. An intense concentration of light could be seen over the dark rim of the eastern horizon. Now, even the shuffling had stopped, and time itself stood still in anticipation of the glory to come. Suddenly, the silence was broken with a loud, thunderous applause as the first sliver of sun appeared over the dark rim. Almost instantaneously, a whole world of light and shadow and immense color came into being. The applause faded into the clicking and whirring of cameras as the glowing sun, now resting momentarily on the rim, shot its rays across canyons, crevices, trees, and trails. As it continued to rise, it revealed a world so vast and colorful that the eye could barely take it all in. Yet, the heart was deeply touched by the magnificent beauty of nature's handiwork over eons of time. The morning songs of birds could be heard over the joyful, multilingual murmuring of the crowd as the faces and features of people from all over the world could be seen walking back to the nearby parking lot where cars, buses, and bicycles waited. Larry and I walked back to our car with a deep feeling of inner peace and knowing that our often chaotic human existence was permeated by a great universal order. Somehow, in seeing the sunrise over the Grand Canyon, my husband and I understood that we and all people were part of the eternal activity of creation, recreating itself again and again in an endless cycle of life, death, and new beginnings. Many such moments have come and gone since then, but the memory of that special dawn returns whenever, amid frustration or resignation, I need it as a reminder that new beginnings are just on the horizon.
Thank you, Larry. He posted that on Facebook from my book, The Language of God, Metagetics and the Bible. And it is unlike any Bible book or book about the Bible that you've ever read, as you can get a taste of what it really goes to is that language that's beyond language, that sense that's beyond senses, that connects us with all of life, with all the universe. For this is what we really are. This is the whole of who we are. The whole of who we are is the whole of the life that is around us. And that's what our message is about today. It's called the Healing Kinship. And healing, as Deepak Chopra defines it, is remembering your wholeness. Remembering your wholeness. And there are ways to remember your wholeness that we'll get to in a little while. First, a few stories and antidotes and the things that ministers throw into their talks. And acknowledgments. How fabulous to be here with you this morning. The last time I was here was when Ann Janae and Alan Quay were here. And I was teaching at Unity Village at that time. And I came out for, as Kelly, Sola will be with you. I don't know if she's going to be online or in person, but I do highly recommend both that course, Healing and Wholeness. I have taught that course myself, and Kelly's wonderful healing presence and work that she does. So I do recommend that. And I was here many years ago, and it's good to be here again. I walk onto these grounds and I feel that connection. Don't you feel it when you walk onto these grounds? You feel that connection with the life that's not just in the building, but all around it. And connected with each other, connected with the whole world. My grandmother, Mildred Park, was the founding minister of Unity of Fairfax. And Fairfax is where I grew up. And I remember riding with her. She had that connection. She felt that connection with all of life. And I remember riding down our neighborhood street with her one day, and there was a house being constructed. And she saw something, and she pulled into the driveway. And she got out of the car, and and she went storming over to whatever it was she was seeing that I had not yet seen. And what she had seen was that one of the trees they were cutting down to build this house, there was a squirrel in the tree. And the squirrel had fallen down with the tree and had been injured. And the construction worker, to put the squirrel out of its misery, picked it up by its tail and started swinging its head against the tree. My grandmother stopped him from doing that. And she said, "I'll take the squirrel." And so they found a little box, and next thing I know, she's bringing this squirrel, unconscious squirrel, back to our car in this box. She took it home. She gently washed it with the cloth and put salve on its injuries and its bleeding ears. And when it started to stir a little bit and feel better, she got an eyedropper and she started feeding it oatmeal and ground up walnuts. And she did this for a couple of weeks or so, and the squirrel started coming around and coming back to life. And when it did, it was a squirrel looking for things to climb, including us. And so it would crawl out of its box and it would climb up our legs, and we named it Tickletail because that is how it felt as it climbed, as it used humans as trees. And as Tickletail got stronger and stronger over the weeks, he finally got to the point where it was time to release him back into the woods. And so we went out and, we set it down and we opened the box, and he jumped out and he scampers off a little bit and looks back at us. And then goes off to his new life. Out of the seeming most horrific conditions, new life can arise. That's what I was taught. That's what the sunrise at Grand Canyon taught me, that even the forces of erosion and storm and water and wind create such beauty, such power, so that millions of people can be reminded in that moment of sunrise of that order underneath all things that is always calling us back to it. When we feel off balance or things are off, we are always called back to that center to remember who we are, who each of us is. So my grandmother felt this kinship with Tickletail, and she adopted, by the way, most every cat that was thrown into the church alley and deserted. So at one point, we were living with my grandparents, and in our household, we had 4 cats, 1 dog, 2 turtles, 2 hamsters, 1 parakeet, and 5 fish. Because we loved the different forms of life. Remind you of anybody else's house? Anybody ever grow up in a house like that? There we go. There we go. And just so you know, today I'm down to 1 cat. And she is my beloved friend and companion, to remind me of who I forget I am sometimes, just by that sheer playfulness and love. Yeah, I grew up loving animals. In fact, the other career I considered, other than ministry, was to be a veterinarian. But I was a little challenged by science, so I became a vegetarian instead. But I'm not a proselytizing vegetarian. I used to be. When I first went vegetarian, I pointed at some green beans once and said, "This food has touched meat." And if anybody's ever lived with that, you can understand that. As the saying goes, there are none so righteous as the newly converted. But today, my outlook is such that it is not so much a matter of what we do, but how we do it, the awareness with which we do it. The mindfulness with which we eat our food. Do we truly eat our food knowing that we are taking in a vital sustenance that the universe has provided for us, that life has given itself up to our life, whether it be animal or plant or anything else? Do we eat that food? Do we embrace life and all of the things that we enjoy in life with the awareness of where they have come from, the hands they have passed through along the way, all that has been put into each little thing that makes our life better? Do we have that awareness that the wholeness of all that is within us? It clothes us, it feeds us, it is alive as a spirit of life within us every moment of every day. Is that an awareness that we have? If I dare speak on behalf of all of humanity, I would say that sometimes we forget that. We forget that we are connected to all of life. And we have our moments where that basic instinct to survive kicks in, and our only concern is our own life. It might be literally our physical life, or it might be the life of our ego and who we think we are in the world. And when those things are threatened, those are the most sacred opportunities to return, to remember our wholeness. We can see the results of people who have felt such a threat in our human history and in our current humanity. It sometimes costs other lives in cruel ways, in large numbers. I don't know about you, but the compassion for life and for the connection with others with which I grew up has me feel to the core what is happening in our world. In Ukraine. And in other countries that don't make the news quite so much. In Yemen and Afghanistan. And the Republic of the Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I want to get the whole name in there. We see the inhumanity that we can put on each other from that place of fearing that we are going to lose something if we don't do that. We forget that the truth is we can lose nothing. That even the loss of life, yes, we feel loss deeply. We experience it at the depth of our being. We grieve the absence of someone's physical presence when we have lost them. And somewhere in the depth of that grief, we find new life. My sister, who grew up with me at Unity of Fairfax, lived in my grandmother's house until this past February, when she passed away of ovarian cancer. And I remember immediately following, I could say nothing. I was in the depth of missing something that had been there before. I couldn't eat anything. Larry took me out to a restaurant and I just stared at my food. But I also remember that those are the times when the soul is nurturing itself from within so that it can find the way to new life. And since then, I have definitely felt Harriet's presence with me almost everywhere I go. I can hear her, almost hear her talking in my ear saying, hey, lighten up. She was a great humorist. She was a well-known actress for many years in the Washington, D.C. area. Well, this is the Washington, D.C. area, isn't it? She was at Little Theater of Alexandria for many performances some years ago. And she always had a great sense of humor, and she still does, because I carry her around in here. Don't you? Don't you carry those that you miss around in here? I also carry the people of Ukraine right in here, right in my heart. Larry and I have a couple of friends who live in Lviv. They don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. It's home. It's home. And we have a connection that is so much deeper than what is going on in our world physically. And it is through that connection that we find our way back to who we are. Through 3 simple principles. I'm going to have you repeat them so that you remember them. They're simple. Not always easy to follow, but they're simple. The first one, now, whatever you call the divine, you may call the divine God. I call the divine God. The divine is that permeating allness of presence that's everywhere. Whatever you call that, you can use in the first word. For me, God lives as me. God lives as me. You've heard God lives in you. God lives for you. God lives in your life. God lives as me. Let's say that together. God lives as me. And the way to remember this, when we do start to forget, it was in the writing that was read at the beginning. It's in every sunrise. You know, every day at sunrise, I step out on my back deck. If I'm not out walking, I step out on my back deck and I face the sunrise. And I dedicate this day to the wholeness of spirit that lives as me and as everyone. And as I'm doing it, I bring my choir with me. It's a choir of birds. The birds start to chime in to greet the morning. So if we remember our connection with all of life, we will remember who we are. All we need to do is tune in to the life that is around us in this moment. In this moment. A book I grew up with in Unity was by J. Allen Boone. It still applies today if you ever get a copy of it. It's a wonderful book. It's called Kinship with All Life. And he talks about his friendship and his connection with a German shepherd that was a movie star at one point, kind of a Rin Tin Tin character. These are true stories. With an old horse and with a fly that he named Freddie. And Freddie would always land on his typewriter when he was doing his work. And then Freddie would follow him from room to room as he walked around his house and prepared his meals and did his research and reading. And eventually he started holding his hand out, and Freddie would land on his hand. He truly felt a kinship with all life. All life. And this is what he wrote about it. Ask the very beasts, and they will teach you. Ask the wild birds, they will tell you. Crawling creatures will instruct you. Fish in the sea will inform you. For which of them all knows not? This is the Eternal's way, in whose control lies every living soul and the whole life of man and woman. It's the Eternal's way to remind you from the simplicity of the life that surrounds you and what it has to give you, that God lives as you, because God lives as all living things. I notice you have a bathroom named Eve. Eve's name refers to the mother of all living. Adam refers to human, and not just human, but earth. Adam's name, Adama, in the Hebrew means earth, dirt. Because in verse 2:7 of Genesis, it says that God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. So you're dirt. But think about what dirt is. Think about what dirt is. See if I can find my next quote. Carl Sagan, an atheist, knows the allness of life. He said, billions of years before the sun and earth even formed, atoms were being synthesized in the insides of hot stars, and then returned to space when the stars blew themselves up. Newly formed planets were made of this stellar debris. The earth and every living thing are made of star stuff. So the next time somebody calls you a piece of dirt, say, thank you, I like you too. Because they just called you star stuff. The whole of the cosmic creation lives in you. And so you can easily step into these next two principles. The second one, God lives through me for you. God lives through me for you, whoever the you is in your life or in your world. Now, you may say, well, but whoa, wait a minute. It is not my responsibility to fix or rescue anybody else. It is up to them. And you would be absolutely right. There is no one and no thing in this world that needs what you have to give. I'll say that again. There's no one and no thing in this world that needs what you have to give. Not that there isn't need in this world. They just may or may not need what you have to give, but they don't. They don't. Here's the key. You need to give it. You need to give it. Because it is the divine impulse of every natural living thing to step into the midst of the difficulty, to step into the midst of the chaos, to find the order, to bring forth a new creation, a new birth. And the third principle, God lives as you for me. God lives as you for me. Ooh, let's say those two principles. First, God lives for me as you. God lives through me. I'm sorry. I'll do that again. God lives through me for you. Okay. God lives through me for you. And I'll say this, I'll correct it a little bit. God lives through you for me. God lives through you for me. And did I say those were easy to remember? God lives through me for you. God lives through you for me. Because God lives as me and God lives as you. So God lives through you for me. And how do we practice that? When we are given a gift, when someone gives us something of themselves, there are two little words. Thank you. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had to overcome this. Oh, no. You know, even a compliment. Oh, no, not really. Not me. Oh, no, you can't. No, I don't deserve it. When you are grateful to someone else, you are giving a gift to them as well, because you have let them know that what they have to give is valued. Is valued. So God lives as me. God lives through me for you. And God lives through you for me. So whether we're practicing these principles by picking up trash on the highway, or planting a tree, or a garden, or acknowledging someone we appreciate, or supporting life-giving supplies going to people who are in the midst of searching for that new life and that new birth. Whatever it is you are doing, you are part of the daily creation that comes with every sunrise, that comes with every minute, that comes with every breath you take. You are part of the creation of a new heaven and a new earth, because you are creation, expressing itself and recreating itself over and over and over again in every moment. In every moment. My dad was a well-known Bible metaphysician throughout New Thought. And one of his sweetest, most simple teachings was the meaning of when Jesus said, "Heaven and earth shall pass away." Many people look at that as total destruction, and it scares them. But here's what it means. When heaven and earth pass away, that means we no longer distinguish between the two. There is just the one. Just like there is the one heart, mind. There is the one heaven on earth. So whatever it is that you are doing, you are creating, because you are creation itself, creating itself. You are creating the new heaven, the new earth. And on this day, as we celebrate the spring, the recent happening of Earth Day, and new life, I pray that you will not only live this day to experience heaven on earth, but to create it as well. God bless you. And we move into our time of meditation. And this will be just a moment, a momentary experience, but one that we carry with us always. As you become comfortable in your chairs and let the chair support the full weight of your body, feel in the heart of your being the Spirit of life. Feel it radiating out from your heart to fill your mind with insight, with peace, to fill your body with vitality and renewal. And let that radiant light reach out to touch everyone in this room and to meet their light till it all becomes one light. A light that moves beyond this sanctuary to embrace every part of nature, every blade of grass, every leaf, every bird, every bunny, every bug. To embrace the people of this community, of this great metropolis and area. And just feel that light expanding until it embraces the whole world. And beyond this world, shining like the blue pearl of the earth into the whole universe. And know this, in this brief moment of silence, you are the light. You are the body of the whole universe, perfectly expressing as you in the silence. And take a deep breath. And I'm going to ask the musicians, our beautiful, wonderful musicians, to pause for a moment. Embrace me with your holy light. Give me wings and let me take flight to the highest realms my soul can touch. And just when I think it's too high or too much, there you are, calling me farther still, until I merge with your divine will and come to know and understand you've placed the universe in my mind, in my heart, and in my hand. Be the creation that you are. God bless you. And amen.
the sun. All day long I'm sitting, singing songs for everyone. Sit beside a mountain stream, see her waters rise, listen to the pretty sound of music as she flies. Do, 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 Find me in my field of grass, Mother Nature's son, swaying the daisies, sing a lazy song beneath the sun. Do, 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 Mother Nature's son.
How nice to sort of sink into that song. And thank you so much. Can we give her a round? Thank you so, so much. Oh, wow. And so now we get to give. This is our time for our tithes and offerings. You can go to unityofgaithersburg.org, and there's a donate button. You can also text to give, and we have a box in the back for you to put money in your little envelope and put it in the back. So there are many, many ways to give. And we're also very appreciative of those of you who have chosen to be consistent givers. That's something that's an option that you can do as well. You can get more information about that online and from Keith. But thank you all so much. We are here and we get to do all this wonderful stuff because of your generosity. So thank you so, so much. And let's bless these tithes and offerings. Together, divine love, I am, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am so grateful. And let's welcome in our kids. Woohoo!
Who wants to get us started? Together. Can you lean down? Say it together. I
am the light of the world. I am the light of the world.
I live
as the light.
I'm so sorry.
I live as the light.
Yes, you do. And now looking at our friends and family, we say together, you are the light of the world. You live as the light. And please join us all together. We are the light of the world. We live as the light. Join your families and
Just want to say to everyone, have a beautiful, beautiful week, and be sure and let your light shine to all that is.